Good afternoon and welcome to KTN Newsdesk. My name is Edith Kimani. This is a show where news is brought to you as it happens, and as such we'll be giving you details of Robert Muigai. If you have no clue who that is, you're at the right place. And also the French government has sent a condolence message to the families of the 147 students who were killed in the Garissa University attack. We have the details of that and what else they've promised. Just to mention that there are some top leaders who are currently being questioned at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Our reporter Patrick Amimo is standing by. We'll get back to him shortly. But first, Robert Muigai. This is a man suspected of being behind the social media text which warned of a terror attack at Egerton University on 4th of April. And he appeared in a Nakuru court today. Now, Robert, also known as Robert Mohammed Blues, was accused of creating a hoax contrary to Section 26 of the Prevention of Terrorism Act 2012. Now, he did deny the charges and he will be remanded in custody until the hearing of his case next week on Thursday. The text, which went viral online, was posted soon after the terror attack at Garissa University College, and Robert was arrested by police officers at Kinamba within Nakuru town. Earlier reports had indicated that Muigai was a student of Egerton University, but the institution confirmed that he was not their student. Suspended Labour Cabinet Secretary Kazungu Kambi and Siaya Senator James Orengo are among the top leaders questioned today by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission officers over graft allegations. Now, KTN's Patrick Amimo has been following events at the Integrity Centre and he now joins us from there. So, Patrick, why don't we just take stock of who has appeared, who is being questioned at the moment, and if any of them have been able to say anything to you?
James Orengo checked in at around 10 in the morning and checked out at 1:15 noon. And one of the allegations that was facing him is to do with the family property in Sondu, that is near Garissa, where he is accused of maybe trying to have attempted to grab a family land worth measuring 0.1194 of an acre. Orengo says this is a family land which was bought from the retirement benefits of his dad, whose lease expired in 2008. He tried to get to convert it into his into his name, but then his application could not go through. This is a family property, and he says he finds the allegation very absurd because nobody from the family has complained if it were anything, and two, the land does not. He did not get the land as it were, the title deed to the land. The other issue that he felt that he should address, though he was not been summoned to address at the ESC, was to do with a property along Ring Road, Westlands, which property has the case began in 2012. It's been mentioned in that particular property, but as far as he's concerned, the detectives here have not questioned him over that property, but he brought them dossiers on who is the owners of that property, and because the matter is also before the court. The other issue that he also felt he has to address is to do with the visits, the alleged visits to Ginger that he paid to the Madhvani family, and it's alleged that he used choppers to make those trips. But Orengo says he's never been to Ginger, he's never used any chopper, and as the commission detectives, if they have anything, any proof of those chopper flights, then they can avail them to him. But he says it's clean as far as those allegations are concerned. He says all those allegations are false, and is now, in fact, is essentially the commission. He says whatever it's doing, it's been turned into a depository or a cesspool of gossip and trivia. So, in fact, that's a very essential thing is brought against them, and says the commission should not be turned into that institution, because it should do its activities above board. As regards Nduva Muli, is a PS. Yeah.
Well, actually, Patrick Amimo, you've just touched on exactly where I was going. PS Nduva Muli, who's been accused of, among other things, being responsible for the tendering process of the standard gauge railway. This has come as a shock to many people, but any sentiments from him?
Him, we checked in at around inside with the detectives, just getting to know more information about that the standard gauge railway procurement process. And you see, yesterday the Cabinet Secretary, Engineer Michael Kamau, was here over the same issues. He was questioned about the procurement process. You remember, this is a matter that was even handled by the National Assembly's Public Investments Committee, the procurement process, and also that Committee on Transport. Though there were initial doubts about the project, it was clear to go on, but now it appears also the EACC issues that they want the officials at the helm of the ministry need to explain over the procurement of that railway, standard railway. Edith?
Well, thank you very much, Patrick Amimo. He's our senior reporter standing by at Integrity Center, where, as he mentioned, Kazungu, Kambi, James Orengo and Nduva Muli have appeared before the EACC. Elsewhere, the French government has sent a message of condolence to the families of the 147 students who were killed in the Garissa tragedy that occurred a week ago. Now, the French embassy also said that France will pay a whole year's fees for 79 students who were injured during the attack. Moi Vice-Chancellor Richard K. Muigai further asked the students who were to be relocated from Garissa University to Moi to report on May 20th, 2015. Meanwhile, students at the United States International University yesterday held prayers for the 147 Garissa University victims at their school auditorium to mark 1 week since the university tragedy.
Who have given us their stories that you've raised. It means that you're still here. It means that you have a...
Attorney General Professor Muigai says the government is holding talks with the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, or IPOA if you like, to expedite the process of police recruitment. Speaking during the launch of a report on gender-based violence in Nairobi, Muigai maintained President Uhuru Kenyatta's directive was not meant to undermine the judiciary or the rule of law.
President intends at all times to enforce the Constitution and the law. And that is why the consultations we are having are consultations about how we can achieve expeditious recruitment of the police while respecting any court decisions that may exist, while at the same time taking into account what the Constitution demands and what the several laws on the security sector require.
This is an interesting story, if ever there was one. The latest Kenya Demographic Health Survey report shows that Nairobi and Central women are having the smallest number, or rather the least number of children, and it has triggered an interesting response from an MP. The Thika Town MP, Alice Nganga, has offered to lead the women in Central in having more children. The report indicated that whereas the northeastern region was leading with a mean of 7 children per woman, Nairobi and Central children were only having a maximum of about 3 children. And the members of parliament is very concerned. She was speaking at the Chania Girls School in her constituency.
The people who have come from Central Province, you know, statistics today have said that our number is decreasing, even including myself. So even me and you, tufanye mpango ingine ya kuongezea kidogo. Tuongezee ndio namba isiende chini sana, because we need these young ones, these beautiful ones, so that we can build our nation. So all of us, I call all of us upon ourselves. I know the economy is very hard, but these are God's creation. You know what to feed them.
The economy is very hard, but these are God's creation. We'll know what to feed them. Wiser words were never said. Well, they have been vilified either with good reason or maybe even because of the stereotypes. These are the matatu touts. The men we love to hate, but what's a matatu tout's life really like? Well, KTN's Mbwa Mwoki spent a day with one of them, and here's her story.
You have seen them, heard them, and even interacted with them. They are perceived to be rowdy, irresponsible, and sometimes rude.
Ni kama wafanyi hiyo kazi ya kutania ngali peke yake. Ni kama kuna kazi zingine, kama kuanjaka watu, kuwashika ngeta.
Wengi wao ni watu wa kulewa. Wenye wako na familia, maisha yao ni ngumu kabisa. Vile uchumi iko sasa, wanatafutia tu njia ya kujitafutia riziki.
Ile pesa haiwezi ruhusu mtu kuweza kulea familia. Na bado pia uaga wengine ni rude, wanafanya mpaka customer anakuwa na uvivu wa kupanda gari.
A misty morning in Reabai village, Kiambu County. Meet the 42-year-old George Njuguna Kiarie. A tout at the Maradaima stage along Mombasa Road. Is a husband and a father of 4.
Niko na mama bibi yangu miaka 13, tumekaa na yeye miaka 15 kutoka ni muoe. Na tunaanga stress, kunanga kutukombanishangi, tumeshalea watoto. Na nimeona watoto ni 4. Mmoja ako class 7, huyo mwingine class 6, huyo mwingine class 3. Sasa ndio ule mdodo ndio tumebaki naye hapa. Mimi huwa hasa najua watoto yangu. Na ndio unaona wamekuwa hivyo. Na sijui si waachiliangi.
Njuguna and his family live in this enclosed homestead along with his mother and his younger brother's family. A house he has constructed with his own hands. His day begins early. His wife ensures he's well fed before he leaves the house.
Anatokanga saa 10:30 asubuhi. Anarudi kutoka saa 5, saa 6 ya mchana.
It is the beginning of a long day at work. But he doesn't mind it.
Watu wa Maradaima kwa jenga wakuangi na gari. Gari mingi zinatokanga Kiambu. Sasa kutoka Kiambu zinakuja zinafanyia kazi wapi? Sasa ndio sisi tunateka advantage, tunaendaga nazo tena nyumbani. Sasa wakati babu zangu walikuwa na magari huku, wakati ziliisha mimi nikaingilia kazi wapi? Nikaingilia kazi huku. Na bado ndio mimi naendelea kazi huku. Ndio mimi fanyanga kazi pale Mombasa Road. Mimi nafikishanga watu pale.
Ulianza hii kazi mwaka gani?
Nimekaa niko na karibu miaka 10.
Unakonga watu wangapi?
Pale mara tunakonga watu 7. Mimi kazi yangu kwa matatu, mimi wanajaza gari, wananipa 10, wananipa mbao. Sasa hiyo ndio kazi mimi wanafanya. Magari zote ile inakuja ndio tunaweka watu. Na hiyo kijana anakupa mbao, anakupa 10. Sasa ndio unachanganya 10 ikifika 500 tunaenda nyumbani.
So kwa siku una pesa kama ngapi?
600, 700.
And like in any other trade, Njuguna experiences different challenges in his ventures.
Makanga makanga wengine wanatunyaganya. Na wengine wanasema tusilipwe. Wengine wanatulipa. Sasa unaona, polisi panakuja pale wanatuharash.
After work, it's time for Njuguna to head back home, but not before making a stop over the Marikiti market, where he buys some fruits for his family.
Na vile akitoka kwa kazi, hawezi kuja akiwa amesimama. Hata watoto wanajua, ukiona baba akiwa amekuja amesimama, leo hana pesa. Juu kila siku lazima akuja na kitu ya watoto. Amekuja na maandazi, Saidi hana pesa, anakuja na kila mtu sweet yake. Na siku anakuja na machungwa, mananazi, anapenda kufurahisha watoto wake.
After spending 8 hours on the road, Njuguna still finds time to spend on his valued piece of land, Bundle of Joy. He spends most of his afternoon on this piece of land.
Mtu wa bidii kabisa, juu hata akitoka kwa kazi, hawezi kaa chini, anakuja anateremka huko chini. Anaanza kulima, na sio shamba tini yake au ya baba yake. Ni mtu tu alikutana na yeye akamuuliza kama anaweza kulima, akampea juu anaona ni mtu hardworking.
Njuguna says he's serious about saving for a rainy day, as he hopes to graduate from being a tout to a matatu driver.
Kupata kazi nyingine sasa mimi nafanya sasa kweli.
It is evident that hard work pays, and as for George Njuguna Kiarie, he has beat all odds and perceptions to become a matatu conductor with a difference. Mumbwa Mwoki for KTN.
From that story by Mumbo, we take a short commercial break. When we come back, Avi Agena will be speaking to the CEO of Jumia, and you'll be asking the question of what's happening with online shopping. What are the trends? What are the prospects? All that's coming your way shortly. Stay tuned.
Well, and welcome back to KTN Newsdesk, and now it's time for our business chat segment, and joining me on set is Parinaz Firozi, the CEO of Jumia Kenya. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we have you today on set just to share with us more about the trends in online shopping.
Yes.
You run a very successful online platform. Just share with us, what's Jumia all about?
Sure. So it's Jumia.co.ke. It's an online retail shop.
Yeah.
So this is the largest shop that exists anywhere in Kenya. We have over 100,000 different items on the website, and what we do is we bring convenience to the customer. So whatever you want, whether it's shoes, clothing, a phone, a tablet, we have the best prices in the market, and you can go on jumia.co.ke and then pick what you want, and we'll come and deliver it to you wherever you are, whether you're at your home, your office, anywhere in Kenya. We'll figure out where you are and how to deliver to you.
You've been operating in Kenya for the last about 11 months. What would you say about the trend so far in terms of the uptick? Are we seeing guys buying things online?
Sure. So I myself have been here for about 11 months. Jumia launched in Kenya 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary. And what we've seen is the Kenyan market is very receptive to online shopping. First, we have a middle actually using the internet. It's over 50% of the population, okay, that have access to the internet. So all these different factors are the perfect concoction for an online website to actually take off. At Jumia Kenya itself, we realized a 900% growth in the number of orders just last year.
Interesting.
Yes.
So what's been fueling the growth?
So besides some of the macroeconomic conditions that we've talked about, I think the biggest factor is what we do to educate the public. Okay, so what we do is we have a team of sales agents that are going out there, and they're with their tablets and they're teaching you, what is online shopping and how do you actually make that purchase. Secondly, what we do is try to placate any of the concerns that a consumer might have. So you're not sure if this is a scam, is this actually going to get delivered or not. So what we do is we allow cash on delivery or M-Pesa on delivery or Airtel money, whatever it is. So you don't actually have to pay for the product until you receive it. If you like it, then only do you pay. So we're trying to, placate some of these concerns, and then the macroeconomic situation is just fantastic, which is why Jumia has been very successful in the last 2 years.
And it seems that the online marketplace is getting bigger. We're getting more players coming into the market. How do you plan to remain competitive in terms of reaching out to the Kenyan market?
So I think the first biggest advantage is that we had first mover advantage, right? So we were in the market first. We've understood what the consumer wants. We've adapted our value proposition to really give the consumer exactly what they're looking for, whether it's a variety of products. No one has as many products as we do. Because we're moving higher volumes, we get better discounts. So we're negotiating very aggressively to have the most competitive pricing on the entire in the entire platform. And then lastly, what we're doing is we're recruiting more and more suppliers to come in and place their items onto the website. So we have a marketplace, which is what you mentioned, where if you're an entrepreneur and you want to sell your products, what we recommend is you give us a call. Our number is on the website, our customer service number. We'll direct you to the right place. We'll onboard you. You pay absolutely nothing to place your products on the website. Okay, and once you make a sale, then we'll charge you a small commission, and that's it. And we're giving you visibility to the entire internet space. Today, we're getting close to 2 million visitors that are coming on our website every month.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you look at our statistics, we're in the top 15 most visited websites in all of Kenya. So it's a business where we are seeing a lot of uptake, and I think having that first mover advantage has really helped us out.
Fantastic. And looking at the Kenyan market still, we have pockets of the consumers who are not really into online shopping, perhaps informed by the fears around, is it safe, will I be conned? And also just the whole aspect of the delivery process. Just share with us how you plan to address this.
Sure. So with the conning factor, what we do is we allow our customers to pay on delivery, which means they don't take any risk. Once they get it, they like it, they pay for it. And in order to, again, get rid of some of their fears, what we also do is have a very flexible return policy, where if you actually ordered something, you're not quite sure about your size, what we recommend is order 3 sizes. Okay, and that way what we have is our writers will wait for you while you try on your products, and then you only keep the ones you like and you return the rest of them. And if you don't like the product, whatever it is, you can give us a call, and within 7 days we'll come pick it up from you from your place and bring it back. So the risk of scams and conning it's very limited, just because you're not paying anything right until you actually get the physical item and until you like it. And we have a huge fan base. We have a big following on Facebook, so you can follow us and you can see all the comments and all the different campaigns that we're having. So we're trying to reduce that. To the second part of your question, which is there are some pockets that are maybe not accessing online shopping. One is because of scams, and the second one is also because of internet access. Right. So there are some individuals that don't have access to internet. So what we're doing here, we're utilizing a B2B2C model. Okay, which is we're selling to a business that sells to a consumer. So we're going into smaller towns where there's kiosks. They don't really have a huge assortment, but they have a little shop. And what we tell them, we teach the shop owners of what is Jumia, and then we teach them how to place an order online. So that way, as a consumer, if you go in, they get to retain the client by placing an order on Jumia, and then we'll come and deliver it to this business owner, who will then deliver it to their customer. So we're penetrating the market in that sense as well.
Quite interesting. Of course, there's the element that we can have things that are stolen actually being sold online. So how do we safeguard against this?
Yes. So we have a very, very strict quality check process. Okay, so all our suppliers that come on board have to go through a proper background check, and then all the products that are there have to go through a proper background check. Okay, and if we realize that there is something, that there's an error and we miss something, we take the guarantee. So we will then make you whole as a consumer. So you don't take any risk, because we guarantee that everything, you know, is genuine on the website.
Okay, interesting there. And finally, what's the outlook like? Are you planning to actually upscale your investment in Kenya?
Yes.
And what should we expect as you wind up?
Sure. So Jumia, currently we have hubs in Nairobi and Mombasa, as well as Nakuru. And just this month, actually starting next week, we will also have a hub in Kisumu, Eldoret, and then all the outskirts around Nairobi. And we're partnering with different logistics companies as well to have pickup stations, so you can basically go and pick up your products if you don't want to deliver it to you all across Kenya. So the goal is really to continue to ramp up in the online space. Today we are the #1 online retailer, but the goal is really to become the #1 retailer, whether it's online or offline for Kenya.
Nice to have you.
Thank you for having me.
And we do hope to have you in future as well. And we'll be keeping an eye, because the online space is becoming quite interesting. We have other players like OLX who are also playing in this space. Well, let's now cross over to Edith Kimani, who has more on what's been making headlines across the country. From me, I'm Abby Agina. Take it over, Edith.
Well, thank you, Abby. And we're actually looking at sports and beach soccer in Kenya. I know it's a fairly new concept, but it's one that has started to take root at the coastal city of Mombasa. And true to any new venture, beach soccer is facing surmountable teething challenges, but that has not dampened the spirits of the stakeholders. KTN's Coast Region reporter Francis Ontomwa traces the path of pioneers of the sport.
The coastal city of Mombasa prides itself with some of the world's finest beaches. The beaches particularly becomes busy during weekends, when families take time away to relax. The scope on what the coastal line can provide is, however, now widening, thanks to a fast rising sport, beach soccer.
Beach soccer, as you can say, beach soccer is a new entity. It's a new product in the market, and in comparison to the other soccer, people have received it well.
Pioneers of the sport are keen to net and engage jobless youths who indulge in drug and substance abuse.
We're going to make sure at least our presence is felt. The youths feel that we are part of them and we are with them, and we will make sure that the mentality that the rest of the country has about the youth of Mombasa will change henceforth.
Beach soccer adopts 5-a-side format and is officiated by 2 referees. The characteristic irregular soft stand makes beach soccer different from ordinary soccer, with a greater degree of improvisation required. The playing field is much smaller, allowing players to score from any angle.
The way I'm seeing things are going on, Kenya will be a country to reckon with as far as beach soccer is concerned. And whatever thing that we are putting right now on the ground, we are building structures. We don't need a scenario or situation whereby we'll just have a national team with those structures. We need to have a proper foundation and well-built structure.
The first professional beach soccer competition was organized in 1993 at Miami Beach, with teams from the United States, Brazil, Argentina and Italy taking part. Francis Ontomwa, KTN, Mombasa.
A team of selected sprinters wrapped up a day 2 residential training camp where they've been sharpening their skills ahead of the national trials set for this evening at the Safaricom Stadium in Kasarani. Now, the trials have attracted the very best of athletes from Nigeria and Botswana.
The Moi International Sports Center Kasarani will come alive tomorrow evening when Kenyan sprinters take to the track in search of the coveted tickets to the second edition of the World Relays Championship set for Nassau, Bahamas. The 4x2 men's team that has already qualified for the World Relays after finishing 5th during the first edition last year is expected to be the showstopper during the trials.
This year the times have been very close. You can't really pick out a single person and say they'll make the team, because the times are very close. So how you run tomorrow will really matter. So it's about character. A lot of things will be put into consideration.
This time participate mzuri kwa hizo mbio zenye nimekimbia na time yangu improve from last season. So I think I'm good.
The 4x4 men's team is among the other teams that will be counting on competition from the visiting countries to attain qualification times. Team member Alphonse Kishoyan admits the challenge will not be an easy one.
Under pressure, but with those 4 teams that are in Kenya, we are going to beat the time.
For some of the athletes, earning a slot in the Kenyan team will provide a perfect opportunity to better last year's performance.
Some of the lessons learned from the last edition, we should concentrate more on baton handling as opposed to individual running, whereby if we do it as a teamwork, it becomes much better because the chemistry comes in, and then we'll be able to perform much better.
The Kenyan national trials to the World Relays in Bahamas tomorrow will not just be about athletes with experience, but rather will focus on athletes who are trying to make the Kenyan team for the first time.
If I make the Bahamas team, probably exposure, so that I can know, like, if I'm to make World Championships or All Africa Games, then I know what I'm going to expect.
Nimelan kupoteza ndio nipate Kenya nataka, because each and every time we've been trying, competing with top athletes here in Kenya, and for now I can only thank God for being number 1.
The national trials will kick off at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Despite most of the Kenyan elite athletes choosing to skip the event, a team of selectors hopes to select a strong team that will represent the country at the 2nd edition of the World Relays in Bahamas. Lynn Washira, KTN.
Time to wrap up KTN Newsdesk, but first, did you know that The Lion King was mostly created by first-time animators? Why, you ask? Because most of Disney's senior animators had zero faith in the project. In fact, they said the story wasn't very good, and they said they really didn't know who would be able to, or who would want to watch such a story. So they chose to work on Pocahontas instead. They really should have known better. My name is Edith Kimani. Have a good afternoon and a good weekend ahead.